Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Welcome to episode 181 of the Go Get That podcast. Dan and I here to recap the API Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard. Bay Hill Club and Lodge. We're going to chat it up, talk how our guy Jordan Spieth fared this week. We'll discuss the winner, Akshay Bhatia, and we'll discuss our third man, our third wheel, Mr. Bob, who will not be here with us tonight or tomorrow night, unless we have a late change of plans for the players preview. But sit back, kick back, relax, get a snack, get a beverage. Dan and I are going to keep you entertained for the foreseeable 30 plus minutes.
Yeah, well, I sure hope so.
We'll try.
We will try. I've thrown my name into the NFL free agency pool, so it's very possible I get a 2-year contract, in which case I will disappear. Where do we start at API? I think it was fun week. Course played difficult for the most part. Sort of disappointing. It had that rain squall, I guess you could call it. What was that, Saturday afternoon? But I think it again delivered a really, really good tournament. You got the leaderboard separation that you kind of expect at that golf course, and definitely a more than an appetizer to the players this week. So really, I enjoyed watching it Saturday and Sunday when I could.
Yeah, no, that's well put. I mean, I was outside Sunday afternoon on the East Coast where the weather's starting to warm up. It's feeling like spring. You can tell the Masters is nearing when it starts to warm up on the East Coast, and even where you are up in Michigan, I know you're getting some good weather as well. But yeah, Sunday afternoon after our guy finished, I went outside, got some fresh air, played some hoops, shot some hoops, and came in. And I didn't go on my phone after Jordan finished for like an hour and a half, and I'm like, turn on the TV, and we have a golf tournament. I thought Dan Berger was just gonna run away with the darn thing. And I come in and I'm pretty sure they were on 18 actually. I came in at the perfect time and I'm like, holy crap, this thing is very much still all to play for. And Dan Berger didn't end up winning, but Tia got the win, a deserved win for him. Guy that's been trending the entire year, been playing good golf, been getting in the mix, and finally broke through this year at least. I mean, he's what, a 3-time tour winner now, I believe.
Might be higher than that.
Yeah, he's got Valero, he's got API, does he have Puerto Rico? He's got the Barracuda. So he's got 3, and then he's got a Corn Ferry tour win to his name. But
gotcha.
Yeah, he went T3, T6, T16, and then won. So he been playing some good stuff all year, and finally, got that W in 2026, which he deserved. So it's nice to come in and have some golf to watch. I mean, it's always fun to watch a playoff.
I agree. I think the other thing too was he was 4 to 5 back. I think it was 4 back at the turn. Missed like a 2-footer on 9. And then promptly birdie 10. Great shot in there. 11, I think, was the one that sort of changed the momentum. Obviously, poured in like a 60-footer from just about where the Texan 3-putted. And then birdie at the gettable 12th. Another hole, the Texan left some gold in the treasure chest on Sunday. And then I'm sure you've seen the highlight now, but on 16 on Sunday, just an absolute high cutty moon ball 6-iron that lands 3 feet from it, ends up 3 feet on the other side of the hole, makes his eagle. Berger birdies, but then makes bogey on 17, and we've got a tie ball game. I'll give some credit to Berger too. That was a gutsy par on the 72nd. You hit it in the right rough. I think after the rain but on 18 in particular, right? If you're in the rough there, good luck getting it to the green with the water protecting. Um, but wedged it out, then wedged it to 12 feet maybe, and made a really tough putt to get it back to the playoff. Batia actually almost went in the water there on 18 too on the 72nd. So definitely entertaining. Probably the best tournament of the year so far in terms of entertainment value. I know there's been a few other playoffs, but at this kind of golf course, the comeback, the shots that were hit, right? I think you think back on this season and you think of this event as like, oh, that was a key shot, that was a big shot, more so than the others. But it was a proper Sunday, um, and a good finish to a tournament that I know we were talking about the darn signature events and their short fields and whatnot, but if you're gonna get a bunch of good players, and in this case two guys that are one, Batia's on the up, kind of rising into a superstar, and Berger is trying to refine some form after some injuries. But if you're gonna get two premier players dueling it out like that at the end, I think that's kind of what these signature events are about.
Yeah, it certainly fits, the model that they were obviously going for, getting all the best players together. And you had two of the best, well, I don't want to say two of the best in the world, but two prominent names at least, two guys that had previously won on the PGA Tour, duking it out on Sunday. It was entertaining. I thought it would be a snooze fest of a finish, and it certainly wasn't. Um, and yeah, I guess to, transition, I mentioned that Batia was trending towards a win. Our guy is certainly trending as well. I think Bob's not able to join us tonight, but the comment he left me with was quote unquote, I believe this week was a giant step in the correct direction, end quote. And yeah, it's tough to, disagree with that. I mean, what, two consecutive top 15s for Mr. Spieth, a jump to 36th in the data golf rankings, up to 64th in the OWGR, 32nd in the FedEx Cup standings. Another good week on the greens. Just a good week all around, really. I mean, he exceeded my expectations. He exceeded the model's expectations. And it was fun. It's starting to look not easy, but he's got paths to shooting, good scores multiple ways, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, the floor is certainly a lot higher. I think what was impressive, or I don't know if impressive is the right word, but I texted you after Thursday. What was encouraging about this week is the swing has improved. Um, I mean, this was his best approach tournament of the year, and it wasn't wedges, right? I still hit a few good ones of those, but I think there were two water balls this week. We had some concerns that could be two water balls a day, given how it was going at the Genesis. And the driver um, it wasn't perfect. I think it cost him a few shots on some of the par fives. Um, but I'm not sure he had the ammunition to kind of be up there, go toe to toe with Berger or Batia this week. But it certainly could have been a top 10 finish with a few more tee balls in the fairway. But for the most part, pretty clean off the tee. And then almost gained, I think it was almost a shot per round into the greens on approach, which, if you look at his data golf page, Phoenix, it was like minus a quarter of a shot, I think. Uh, what was the week after? Pebble, I think it
Pebble.
was a small gain. Genesis with a slightly bigger gain, and then this week was a even bigger game. So it is a direct trend, where each time it's gotten better. Um, Nothing was elite this week, but I think he's finding ways to continue to play complementary golf, and that's how you kind of squeak out some good rounds. Thursday wasn't particularly very good, but it was a decent enough score to keep you in a position to go kind of keep moving up the leaderboard. I think a T11 is a pretty fair result. It was solid and better than anticipated, but not uh, spectacular by any means. But better. Like it was the T12 at Genesis was fine, but it felt like an over result in some ways. Whereas this week felt um, like he maybe left a few out there, but in a obviously it's not a good thing, but in a good way. And like hey, he made a lot of progress this week.
You know, it's really well stated. I mean, at Genesis, he made every single putt he looked at. Um, so it's easy to say he overachieved when you do that. He was what, second in the field strokes gained putting behind Bridgman, who obviously won the golf tournament this week. He left some out there on the greens. I mean, he had two three jacks on Sunday on
Yeah,
back-to-back holes. I mean, really, you throw out the two three jacks, he putted really well all week again. Mills is just, you know, he don't care if it's POA or Bermuda or whatever he's putting on bent grass. I mean, he's Mills is going to show up and, you know, do some work, which he again did. And it's funny. I've been getting a bunch of complaints, you know, after Sunday, even just the whole week as a whole on the driver being bad. I was really impressed with the driver, honestly. I credit him and Cam for really, you know, going to work on that on the week
shout
off
out
after
Cam,
Genesis. Yeah, shout out Cam
Team Cam.
because he gained strokes off the tee, which I mean, you know, it's not a big ask, but he gained nearly a quarter of a shot a day. And, you know, after Riviera, that was three straight tournaments in which he lost off the tee, probably going to API, which of every single event he's played so far is the most penalizing event off the tee.
For sure.
And he got it around. I know he had there were a couple squirrely ones still, had a couple water balls. I think in our one of our group chats, I set the over under on water balls for the week at 3.5. So the under hit. I think it was only at 2.
Yeah,
Um, and it's funny, a lot of people are like, oh, he's got to hit fairways on the par fives. And my response to that would be, you know, don't hit it into a bush with your second shot out of the fairway bunker on
12
12
on
like he
Saturday.
did on
Yeah,
Saturday. It's like the bunkers off the tee, if you're finding them at API, for the most part are playable. And he just had some squirrely second shots. But, you know, all in all, I think the driver progressed really well. As we get into the, you know, the players preview this coming week, it's going to be stressed again.
yeah,
These Florida courses really just demand, you know, fairways off the tee. But, you know, again, I think Bob said it well. It's a really good step in the right direction. I mean, when's the last time he had two top 15s in a row? I think we're going back to April last year with Valero and the Masters back to back. So it's promising. And as you said, the approach play has gotten better every single week, and it's certainly passed the eye test this week.
yeah. I can't think of very many swings that were bad. Like there was maybe one or two that were pretty far on approach with some of the irons that were 20 yards, 30 yards right of target. I think you mentioned it on one of your shots. He maybe missed it 35 feet right, and it's like, well, yeah, that's gonna be your miss. That's that's a totally fine miss that'll play in a lot of places. And you hear tour guys especially talk about it a lot, right? Like it's a game of how small your misses are, which is why Scheffler is typically unbelievable because his
Typically,
misses are so small. I think I can understand where people are coming from with the driver because I think it ultimately let him down, just in terms of like getting it to 10 or 11 under for the week, or at least the opportunity to get there. Made fives on all the par fives on Sunday, in part because the driver couldn't put it in the fairway except for on 6. And some of that can be attributed to the approach, the short game shots, whatever. I'm not too concerned about the par 5 play. I do think as we continue to play better, you can start to nitpick some of the like can't make 4 5s in a day and expect it to be a really, really good round. So we'll see, as we continue to progress, hopefully. It'll be kind of an interesting thing to monitor is how well the par 5s get played. Especially, I think part of it, the slight disappointment, and it's interesting that I'm going here with this kind of point because I don't have a ton of disappointments from the week, but the slight disappointment is that these par 5s at the API are pretty gettable. A 6 is interesting because you can make an 8. And I think if you play 6 and 2 under, 3 under for the 2 under is fine. You might be losing a little bit. 3 under, you're probably gaining a little bit, but the other ones you should be 3 or 4 under, for the week. And that certainly wasn't the case. But the drive misses weren't way left or way right, just out of the heel slightly, out of the toe slightly. I mean, I think we were watching that. Well, maybe not because it was Sunday, but the water ball he hit on 3 on Sunday wasn't even a water ball. He just little heely and it plugged into the bank above, inside the red line, obviously, so it's a penalty. But in terms of how big the miss was, it's not like it was a straight snap hook into the drink, and he rebounded with a par there. So really starting to swing it well. I think there's some confidence there. It helps when you continue to I've been kind of rambling here, but really what I was trying to get to from the beginning was like the continuation of making putts inside of 10 feet. That's been sort of an issue point in a lot of seasons past. He was awesome at Genesis and wasn't quite as awesome this week. But inside of 5 or 6 feet, you feel pretty good about the ball going in the hole from that range now. And that's not how you win tournaments, but it's how you you don't make them, you lose them. That's for sure. Right? It's how you keep yourself in tournaments. So it's been I think to see that transition from the West Coast to the East Coast is probably my most like kind of an underlying like continued trend that I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of said in the recap after Genesis, if he's putting well on POA, it's like all hell could break loose once he gets to Florida, Texas, surfaces that he's traditionally been better on. And that continued this week. I mean, he was top 20 in putting again. I should have pulled it up because I'm very curious as to where with another good week where he is on tour and strokes gained putting this year. But I was just looking, and this is insane, Dan. He has not lost strokes since round 1 of Pebble. He has lost strokes 1 time. He has gained strokes in his last 11 of 12 rounds. That is really nice to see. That means you're not shooting high numbers, and at worst, you're average.
Yeah.
And that's how you turn in 3 straight top 30s with 2 of them being top 15s. The only bad round in there was round 4 at Pebble where he shot 72. Every single other round since round 1 at Pebble, he's gained. So that's
Consistency.
that's consistent. That's exactly what he says he's chasing. I think he just wants, to raise the floor a little bit and, have the bad rounds be a little bit better than average, which is how you win golf tournaments. But it certainly seems like we're getting closer to that, which I said in my recap on Sunday. We'll obviously get into it in the players preview. Maybe that won't be this week. Maybe it will be. Who knows? But yeah, so Jordan is 17th on tour in putting strokes gained putting. And that's higher if you remove like 5 dudes who do not even have 10 rounds
Yeah.
um, accounted
So,
for. So he's like the 12th on tour in putting,
yeah.
which is makes you giddy.
Yeah, it does make you giddy. And the progression with the iron play, it's funny we have all these, positive things to say, progress, consistency, all that. And then it's just going to absolutely be tested next week at the Players where he has been consistently terrible. Um, and some of that's course, I don't know if course fit is the right word, but sometimes your eye lines just aren't great around there. And he's usually a guy that plays his tracks pretty well. Plays his other tracks that he doesn't play very well, doesn't play them very well. Like there's consistency in that aspect. That's a nice nugget you had there about 11 out of 12 because you think back and it's felt like that. And you're really, I mean, he's, looking to find one more shot around basically to be in serious contention. So turning those 68s to 67s or 66s, right? Getting that one elite round that where you gain 5.5 on the field. Um, and I know it's not all about numbers. Right, and that's Bob's the uh, sort of the more eye test guy, or reliant on the eye test, I would say. Um, and the eye test looks great, but the to win a golf tournament, you have to beat the field by an average of probably 3.5 or 4 every day, right? And so being able to turn the rounds where you do beat the field by 3.5 into 5.5 gives you the buffer for when you shoot the 69 um, or something on Thursday at the Players that is gaining 1.5. We'll see how tough the Players is going to play, and we'll get into that as or I guess tomorrow. But it's that kind of just gaining a little bit more out of your rounds is so important. And he's doing all the right things, and we're trending to being able to get half a shot better around a tournament and see where that puts him.
Well said. I mean, if you wanted to say a negative, I'll go straight to the data golf approach tool and above 150 yards, it's still very much a work in progress. I
Yeah,
mean, 150 to 200, he's the 22nd percentile. Over 200 yards, he's the 17th percentile in strokes gained per shot. So it's still a work in progress up the bag. I don't know where he was entering API, but kind of as you said, there were some, longer irons that were hit really well. I think back to, 17 on Saturday where he stuck it to 14 feet. That hole was playing pretty darn tough, made the putt.
yeah,
You're stealing one there. There's a lot of good. There's enough good to offset some of the bad. And kind of as you mentioned a little while ago, the catastrophic seems to be, I don't want to say in the rear view mirror, but there's less catastrophic iron shots that are just, killing them
yeah,
compared to, you think back to 17 at Pebble where he was 40 yards left of or 40 yards right of target. We haven't seen that as of late or in, the last couple tournaments he's played since Pebble. So that's nice. And I know for a fact he got better this week from 100 to 150 yards. He's back to the 97th percentile from 100 to 150. He's just the wedge play has been spectacular all year long. And yeah, hopefully we'll get into it in the players preview. Hopefully it'll be a firm players. I think the firm golf courses. You get more rollout when you're hitting fairways and you're getting more wedges in your hands. So we're gonna hope for that. And all in all, another really solid week at the API. I was happy to be back on that sponsors exemption, and I think we kind of saw why. I think this is a place that Jordan likes. It's funny, I didn't have him as a big course fit, and part of that was because the driver issues, and he got better with that club, hit it pretty well, and was able to, score because he hit enough fairways. So was happy to get that exemption, as I said, and we'll keep on keeping on in this Florida swing with the players and then the Valspar next week.
Yeah. No, progress has been made, certainly. We've summed that up pretty well, I think. Lots of reason to be encouraged. I was just looking at the weather for Sawgrass. Looks like some rain on Thursday and a little bit Friday as well. So unlikely to get a properly firm Sawgrass winter, probably approaching that kind of 18 under number. Unless the wind blows. Not able to see that from the iPhone weather app. But
It's going blow.
will be a good test regardless. And another opportunity to keep trending in the right direction. See how the game stacks up against a good course, a great field, a full field. We already don't want to get too deep down the players preview, but we already have tee times, which uh, the early late is always the time to get. 15 of the last 18 winners have been early late, and we are late early. So that's kind of a bummer. But
Cheating us.
yeah, but such is these obstacles that it needed to be overcome. Um, and good golf will outdo those. So definitely, I don't know. It's just exciting. Like I'm looking forward to Thursday. I'm looking forward to seeing how things translate. I imagine he was on site already today, getting some more work in. Um, and I kind of small thing here, because I think I've said my most of my piece, but the miss on 18 on Sunday, if you were watching on PGA Tour Live down the line, I mean he hit it exactly how he was trying to. Um, Ball was rolling perfectly end over end, hugging the ground, lip out. Thought it should break more. And that was right after an absolute laser beam with the pitching wedge to that 7 feet. And he was pretty a little irritated, a little frustrated. I think he wanted to get more out of that round and probably should have.
Didn't do media after.
But I I kind of like that. Like, yeah, like be frustrated. Um, Go get a little bit better this week, because there's plenty to be excited for. And still plenty to work on too. Um, Part of the another thing I was thinking about was going into the weekend. He was saying he was trying to get 6 under over the weekend, and he came up that last putt short. He got 5. Um, so still a lot of encouragement, but a lot of the encouragement is taken in the context of we have a long way to go in some respects. But I think the optimist lens is that we're closing that gap pretty quickly. Um, still looking for contention, still looking for serious in the heat of the battle play, but he shows you when he is trending towards wins, and you can't deny that he's trending towards some really really good stuff. Uh, Hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, hopefully for sure. I think since you mentioned it, the official tour weather report as of 7 a.m. this morning, for Sawgrass, since I had it pulled up and then I lost it, but I'm gonna get it back. It is gonna be windy unless it's gonna change. Thursday, 10 to 16 with gust up to 22. Friday, 12 to 18 with gust up to 24, and then Saturday, 10 to 15.
Okay.
So there will be some wind, which will be
Yeah,
fun.
that's fun. I have some players' thoughts that I'm excited to get into this week. I think it's just such a fun tournament. Even if it has its kind of goofy quirks. I think they do a good job of making it feel more special than a normal tour event. Certainly isn't quite a major, but I think it's in its own category of tournament, and it's pretty cool. It's unique. You only get it a tournament feel like this once a year, so um, and I guess technically that's true for everything, but I feel like sometimes you can lump the Twin Cities and Detroit and Wyndham. Some of those events all kind of feel the same. I think people know what I'm saying, but I'm pumped.
Yeah, pumped as well. I guess just to close out here, we can do a little triple double recap. I mean, I didn't just say that because I had the best week. I just think the people, you had a fine. Well, you lost Rory, but
Zero out of Rory is tough.
yeah, Rory withdrew. I had the big fish with Morikawa, 840K. I'm out of Siwoo uses. He had a solid week. You had Kurt Harris. What that net you? 420, 410. Bob had Ricky, who had a nice week, and then he had Fitz, who did nothing. But what? I hold a 1 million lead over Bob and 1.8 over you, give or take.
Yeah.
So still
Missed
very well. I say very early, but we're almost halfway through the signature events. I think after the Heritage. Is that what I said? After Heritage,
Heritage. I mean, the signature events they go pretty quick.
they do.
Um,
I know you have
like
Travelers,
Travelers, Heritage, the Doral tournament,
Truist,
Truist.
and the playoffs. So there's still plenty of money.
Yeah. No, plenty
But
and this week obviously like it
yeah,
there's some good stuff to be made this week. Uh
yeah,
so we'll see. And it's interesting because Scheffler hasn't played Scheffler level stuff, but this is the biggest prize pool. So the Scheffler play will be interesting to kind of keep an eye on.
yeah. I have the first pick, and I guess I'll just wrap up with this. I will not be using Scheffler. I think I already know the three guys I want. Um, one of the I will not use Ricky, but Ricky is starting to um I don't know. I think his peak could be coming soon. I don't know what his schedule is. I know he's still battling his way to try to get in the Masters, but
Yeah.
he's becoming a little bit of a model darling. He's, placing high, not high enough for me to use him probably this week, but it wouldn't shock me if the orange man, um, not the president, not the president, but the man wearing orange from Oklahoma State was in was in the mix on Sunday at Sawgrass, a place he's won before. But that's all I got.
Yeah.
Um,
He he's been playing well.
yes, very well.
Like I'm not sure where I don't know if there's a win like right there. It sort of feels like there's like contention around the corner. But I don't know if there's a peak week. Trying to think of what his schedule is gonna be. Did he play the cog? I don't
Nope.
think so. So is it possible he's at the Spar?
Seems like everyone's going to be at Valspar.
Yeah.
He might already be
So
in the field there. I don't. Let me look.
yeah. You also mentioned qualifying for the Masters. I think that's got to be on his mind, but I'm pretty sure with a good, like a reasonable finish this week, he's in. Um, or he's one good finish away from being into the Masters, basically.
Yeah. No, it's funny. You go to Data Golf's got this cool like major championship field tool to kind of show which dudes are like on the bubble, and he's not even on the bubble according to them. The four guys that are on track right now to be top 50 of the OWGR week prior to the Masters who are not already in are Knapp, Pearson Cootie, Berger, and Matt McCarty. So
Yeah.
Ricky's got a little bit of work, but it's crazy the guy like Knapp isn't even in yet. That's absurd.
Yeah,
Um,
that is crazy.
but at
And
Masters,
well,
it's a tough field to make.
yeah. That's why it's good thing all you have to do is win one, and then you're
Yeah,
there every year.
yeah,
So
that's the only reason our guy's in right now.
yeah. No, exactly. It made me think of the US Open because I think we're trending towards qualifying for that here for sure. Um, I don't
Yeah,
know when it locks, but pretty sure you get inside the top 60 of the OWGR at a certain point. You get a you get an invite there.
top 60 as of May 18th or the week of the US Open gets you in.
Okay.
So
So
either
a
of them.
couple months to maintain it. Um, but really Spieth's 2024 was so bad that there's not any. It's funny, I haven't done this math in a long time because of Data Golf and their rankings, but all all of the events that are falling off from 2024 are like T39s,
Poor
missed
play.
cuts. Like we're not losing anything. We're actually almost gaining points because the divisor is getting smaller. So he's really just a
Pete knows the math.
contention at either this week or next week in a top five finish, and he's well inside the top 60, I'd imagine. Um, Especially this week with the strength of field that goes along with the players. So, um, I mean, I'm not suggesting a top five is going to happen, but that would be lovely if it
Never
did.
know.
So, um, don't believe I have any more API thoughts other than
Yep.
it lived up to the billing. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I was happy to see Jordan back in the field, but no, that's all I got. Looking forward to chopping it up with you tomorrow night for the players preview.
Yes, me as well. Very, very excited. We'll have to I'll have to do some more research, but looking forward to seeing how it plays. Hearing that it's going to be windy is great. I think that's partly why they moved it to March, is to get a little bit more potential inclement weather. Obviously, I think it's been delayed the past few years in some capacity, but hopefully it's just some rain and some wind this year and keep the guys out there and make it tough. Like it's a good test. It's a pure aesthetically pleasing golf course that deserves a good tournament. And I think we'll get one. So pumped. Maybe the Texans can be part of the mix.
Would be nice. Um, but yeah, we'll chat it up tomorrow and we'll see you guys then.
Sounds good. Peace out.
Take care.